There's a lot of advice out there about extending your home, and most of it's useless. The truth is, the way you start is what decides whether your extension works or becomes a money pit. I used to build extensions, and now I help homeowners plan and manage theirs properly from day one. In this video, I'll show you exactly what I'd do if I was planning an extension, with 5 clear steps to stay in control, hire the right people, and avoid overspending. First off, I wouldn't start with Pinterest. I wouldn't start with design ideas or dream layouts or any of the fun stuff. That's how most people begin. They get excited, start collecting images of bifold doors and open plan kitchens, vaulted ceilings, and then hand it all over to a designer to draw up something beautiful. But the problem is, no one's answered the most important question yet. What can you actually afford to build? Here's what I'd do instead. I'd take my total budget and strip it back. Firstly, I'd take off VAT. Then I'd take off fees for designs, planning, approvals. Then I'd make allowance for finishes like kitchen, bathroom, flooring, lighting, the stuff you're going to pick yourself. I'd also put aside a 10% contingency. And what's left is your build budget, the amount available to pay a builder and buy materials. That number is your anchor. Everything else, your design, your spec, your timeline, needs to work around that number. So once you know what you can afford, how do you make sure your design actually matches that budget? I wouldn't get plans drawn or submit anything for planning approval. That's the step most homeowners rush into. They think getting plans drawn is getting ahead. But here's what happens. You pay an architect, you get beautiful plans, you submit for planning, and only after that do you get quotes from builders. And that's when the panic hits, because the design is already locked in and the quotes have come back £20,000 or £30,000 over what you can afford. So here's what I'd do instead. Get a rough sketch or layout done, just enough to talk through the idea, then run it past a few people who understand build costs, builders, quantity surveyor, or a cost consultant, and ask, can I build this for X amount? And if not, what needs to change? That's a cost sense check, and it's the single most effective way to stay on budget before you spend money locking in the wrong plans. And it doesn't have to be expensive or take weeks, but it gives you one vital piece of information. Can you afford to build this version of your extension, or do you need to adjust your plans now while they're easy to change? So once you've checked your costs and avoided locking in the wrong design, what's the one thing most people skip that ends up costing them later on? One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking the project starts when the builders turn up, but it starts way earlier. And if you don't know what's coming, if you don't understand the stages of your project, you'll end up reacting rather than planning. I've seen people in the middle of their build making a £5,000 decision in a 5-minute conversation just to keep the job moving. They're not being strategic, they're just fighting fires. All because they never had a clear picture of the whole process. That's why I'd start by mapping out the project in stages like this. So stage 1, idea and brief. Stage 2, planning and approvals. Stage 3, detail and preparation. Stage 4, quotes and hiring builders. And stage 5, build and finish. Each stage has different risks, different decisions, different people involved, and if you can see the shape of it all early on, not just the step in front of you, then you'll make better choices all the way through. That's why I created the Home Extension Blueprint, a free 5-part guide that walks you through your entire project stage by stage. It gives you the overview most people never get, so you're not just reacting to problems as they come up. You know they're coming, so you can actually stay in control. You can watch it for free, the link's down below. Once you've got a clear map of the whole journey, who's actually going to draw your plans and design your extension? When most people are planning an extension, they assume they need an architect. I mean, it sounds like the obvious move, right? But it's not always the right fit. Architects are the most qualified and usually the most expensive, but that doesn't mean they're best suited for every project. What you actually need is someone who understands your brief, your budget, and how the whole project needs to come together. Someone who can help you draw plans that you can actually afford to build, not just designs that look nice on paper. Too often, people hire the wrong kind of professional and only realise it when the builder quotes come in way over what they can afford. The key thing here is to know there's more than one kind of professional who can draw your plans. You've got architects, architectural designers, specialist home extension designers, design and build firms, just to name a few. Each brings something different, but none of them is automatically right. The key is finding someone who can balance vision with cost and design something that's buildable within your budget. And before you hire anyone, ask these 2 questions. Number 1, can you help me design something I can actually afford to build? And number 2, what happens if the quotes come back over budget? If they can't give you a clear, confident answer, then that's a red flag. So once you've found the right designer and your plans are in, what actually happens before building work starts? This is where most homeowners skip a step. They get planning permission, they've got drawings, and they think they're ready to build, but it's only half the story. Your designer and engineer will handle technical drawings and structural calculations, but you've also got some key prep to do. You need to serve a party wall notice if you're building near a shared boundary. Specify your fixtures and finishes like kitchen, bathroom, heating, flooring, lighting, and prepare a quote pack that contains your drawings, your spec, your brief, so builders can give you clear comparable prices. Once you've done that, you're in a position to get builder quotes, choose who to hire, and sign a contract. Now at that point, you're finally ready to build. And here's the thing, if you've done all of this right, if you've followed these 5 steps, then the build itself is simple. You're organized, you've got the right people, and you've made the decisions early. If you haven't, the build is where everything starts to go wrong. It's where the stress kicks in, the money runs out, and the whole thing falls apart. That's why I created the Home Extension Blueprint. It's a free, step-by-step guide that walks you through this whole process from start to finish and shows you all 5 stages of your project and the key decisions to get right at each one. So if you want to avoid the chaos and actually enjoy the process, then go watch that right now. The link's down below. Till next time.